I'm Liam.
I'm Wayne.
You're listening to In Film We Trust YouTube.
A place where we post clips from our recent episode.
All links down below in the description.
And now, on with the show.
Funnily enough, Wayne, the first film that was banned in West Germany.
It was, and it was seized by the police in the UK, but it's not technically a video nasty.
It isn't. Why is that?
It was banned by the BBFC.
Ooh.
Some films were seized, some were prosecuted, but apparently Maniac was not technically a video nasty, or did you find out that it was?
You would assume it was.
Think
It
so,
has
yeah.
all the hallmarks. It's gratuitous in its violence. It's very bloody. Some accusations as being anti-feminist, anti-women. You
Yeah.
would think it kind of meet all the criteria for a video nasty.
It's the kind of movie that Enid from Censor would have freaked out at. She would have cut this whole film
I still
down.
stand by that episode, Wayne, one of our goods.
Yes, do love that episode, yes. But it was 1980 when the film came out. It was directed by William Lustig. Am I saying that right?
Lustig, nephew of the boxer Jake LaMotta.
Yeah, I can't believe we came across that.
And if nobody knows, if that's just a random person and you're not like, oh, I'm not into boxing, Jake LaMotta is the central character in Martin Scorsese's Raging Bull.
Chances are that's where you'll know it
Played
from.
by Robert De Niro.
Robert De Niro, of course. Oscar winner, Robert De Niro.
Do you know how old William Lustig was it when he made this film?
I'm going to guess he was in his 50s?
No, 24. He was
24?
came from the pornography world.
He did, yeah, and he was mostly known for making low-budget horror flicks, which of course this was. He also made a series of films called Maniac Cop.
Maniac Cop. I
Which
saw the
has-
first one.
Yeah, is it any good?
It is good.
Yeah, point out, no connection with the Maniac film that we're talking about today, just Maniac Cop.
There is a connection between this and Maniac in a 6 degrees of separation way, because in Maniac Cop, one of the stars of that film is Bruce Campbell.
Oh, yes, he is, yeah.
Who plays a part in the mythology of this film. We will get to later. I'm not gonna shoot it all at the moment.
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
I love how Bruce Campbell does just turn up in all this random stuff, but it's always great to see him.
But also, did you know William Lustig, director of this film, was the founder of Blue Underground, that great company that releases exploitation films to Blu-ray and DVD?
No, I didn't know that.
Yes, that's almost what he's more famous for now.
Yeah, I'll be honest, before doing research for this film, William Lustig was not a name that I'd ever heard before. I'd never actually come across it.
No, he's coming from the exploitation world. As I just mentioned, he's coming from the pornography world, which kind of underground filmmakers of that time did. Sean S. Cunningham from Friday the 13th,
Yeah.
he was a porn producer. Wes Craven directed porn films. Also, Abel Ferrara. Abel Ferrara was a porn director
Really?
before he made Miss 45 and Driller Killer.
I suppose before you get started in like mainstream movies, making those kind of films, again, you can hone your craft and it's very cheap to make.
And especially then, it's like in this film, when New York is presented as a very gritty world.
Yeah.
I imagine so, and I'm only presuming here, none of us were born in 1980, but I think those worlds would cross,
Yeah.
the porn world and the exploitation world.
Also, 1980, we're still talking golden age of porn here, so it's
Right.
still kind of at its peak, so it makes sense that you would cross over into...
Well, you sound like
mainstream
you're
films.
speaking from experience here, Wayne.
Oh no, this came up in my research. Careful now.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, but the film was written by C.A. Rosenberg.
Who was did you know that's a woman?
Is it?
It is a woman.
Oh.
For years, nobody knew who Rosenberg was.
Yeah,
It came out as a woman, which is kind of risque considering this film was...
Considering the subject material.
and it was attacked by feminists.
Yeah, very much, yeah. And also, Joe Spinell actually wrote this as
Joe
well. Joe Spinell, a great character actor. One of those guys who you've probably seen but just didn't know his name because he was in Brubaker, Taxi Driver, Rocky...
Godfather.
And probably most famously Godfather, yeah.
He was in both. I think he was in the first two Rockies, was he not?
He was, yeah. He
Yes.
was in the first two Godfathers as well, but I think he was actually uncredited in the first
Well, he's
one
one of those guys like John Cazale.
Yeah, John Cazale.
He's very much a character actor. He's not necessarily a household name,
Yeah.
but you recognise his face. And what I respect about Joe Spinell, for whatever reason, he actually, to make this film, because as you said, he generated the story for this film, he actually turned down $10,000 a week to do the Spielberg-produced film directed by Robert Zemeckis' Used Cars, which would go on to star...
Kurt Russell was in it.
Who would go on to star Kurt Russell.
Am
But
I right?
that shows conviction, doesn't it?
It does.
He believed so much in this material that they
Yeah.
were making that he would turn down a Spielberg-produced film.
Yeah, he wanted to do something that was not necessarily closer to his heart, but what he thought would be the more compelling, the more artistic film, the more daring film anyway.
Oh, psychological study. You could almost say Joe Spinell's character in this film is the cinematic cousin of Travis Bickle in Taxi Driver.
There's very much there's parallels between them, definitely. Also, not only did he turn down big money for the Spielberg film, he put his own money into it, because he did, Spinell, 7 movies in 1980.
Yeah.
I think money from those other films helped fund this, because I think he funded it, I think the director did. It was basically just whatever money they could get together to make this film.
And do you know how we were saying that Lustig's coming from this porn pedigree?
Yeah.
Funnily enough, a lot of the victims in this film were porn actresses.
Quite a few of them were, of course, again, just a way to keep the budget down. Like, they were kind of bit parts, really, mostly like, victims, of course.
Well, the budget of this film, $350,000. It's quite low even for 1980. Not super low, but we're getting there.
It did make 10 million at the
10
box office,
million.
which is pretty good. How much of that do you think can be attributed to the controversy at the time, though?
Good you bring that up, the controversy.
Yes.
Well, here's the thing. Is it controversial for the content, or was it that poster? Because a lot of people who hadn't even saw the film were up in arms about the poster. The poster contained a man holding a knife and the scalp of a woman.
It was a funny case where not only was the film banned, a lot of places the poster was banned. Well, I think it was torn off like cinema
Well, there was
walls.
one case, the poster was actually painted over white by a bunch of people up in arms about the film. Where do you stand on that? Because I was watching some news footage, this on-the-street news footage, and they were asking a cinema goer, they said to him, how disturbing is this? And he said, I didn't really find it scary. I felt the Texas Chainsaw Massacre was far scarier. And I don't know if I agree. Texas Chainsaw is the vastly superior film.
Yes, I'd agree.
But this film, and especially the Frank Zito character played by Joe Spinell, that's recognizable in a lot of serial killers we read about. There's an authenticity there.
Yes, you're far more likely to bump into a Frank Zito than you are a Leatherface. For me, that was what made this movie, in a sense, scarier, that you're more likely to meet a character like this. This is the kind of person we could have met on the street. We could have met this kind of person anywhere and just not known about it.
Dodgy bastards win.
Dodgy bastards.
Yes.
Dodgy bastards are everywhere, yes. It's unfortunate that Joe Spinell, like John Cazale, his career was cut short because he died when he was only 52.
Was he 52?
Yeah, because he cut himself, I believe, in the shower, and because he was a haemophiliac, he bled to death.
I did not know that.
No, it's really unfortunate.
What decade was that? Do you know?
That was in I think the 80s.
Oh, so the same decade this film was made?
Yes, I think it was the end of the 80s, maybe the beginning of the 90s. Yes, but like you say, $350,000 budget, $10 million at the box office, very guerrilla-style directing, again, because they couldn't afford film permits.
Well, filmed over 26 days. Non-consecutive, we should say. They came back and forth to it.
I imagine they would, yeah. There was also we'll get to it, but there's some scenes where they essentially had to film and then run away.